I've turned 23 and entered my Jordan year. Still as ambitious and naive as I was at 18. Thought I would have had it figured out by now at 23, 5 years later, but here we are. Still pretty lost and confused, but figuring it out slowly on the way. I think a piece of advice that I would give to my 18-year-old self would be to just start doing things. Just start taking the action. You spent way too much time just thinking in the abstract, planning things that didn't necessarily bear any fruits because it was all happening in your own mind, spending too much time on the whole self-development internal phase of the improvement journey and not interacting as much with the external world. Because I think journaling and working out and meditating and taking cold showers and all that is great. It gets your mind right, and it does help you feel like you're making material improvements in your life, especially when your prior state was, just not trying hard at all in school, waking up 5 minutes before you had to leave, rushing out the door, coming home, playing video games, and that's your life, right? Doing all the self-improvement habits, journaling, doing some self-reflection, that all feels like exponential progress from that baseline. But once you kind of do that for a couple years, and I might argue that you don't even need that much time, it really doesn't have much value past that. You'll experience a plateau after doing it for some time, and you might think that falling off of those habits is the thing that's holding you back, or that you need to continue to do them spiritually and habitually to continue making that type of progress. But I think the real fact of the matter is all of that self-improvement work is just done internally, right? Nobody can say or can see any results that you have from journaling every single day or taking cold showers, right? Some might say that you have a different aura, or spiritually you have matured and things like that. And so, to some degree, the self-reflection that comes from doing these habits and instilling discipline does pay off, and maybe some people can notice it in the way that you approach work or in the way that you speak to other people. But it's not the same thing as this. You just have nothing to show for it, is basically what I'm trying to say, right? Sure, you can pull up your habit tracker and say, hey, I journaled every single day for 2 years straight, or I took cold showers every single day, and I worked out every single day. And you can show metrics there of your bench press improving from 50 pounds to 225, right? There are measurable improvements there, but none of that really is in the external world. Maybe my comments are siloed more specifically towards the business and making money lens, because once you graduate college and start having to pay bills, and the money becomes a bigger factor in what's important to you and what you need every single day to continue living, you do turn your attention towards it more. And so basically what I've realized over these past couple years is that all of the self-improvement habits that I did for the past X number of years, since I was 17, 18 years old, I don't really have anything to show for it other than a couple stacks of journals and a pile of books that I've read, and just spreadsheet progress of my lifting progress. But none of that has materially influenced how I live, like my quality of life in the material sense, which there's weight to be had on the spiritual side of making sure that your mental health is good, of course. But I'm journaling every day and meditating and taking cold showers doesn't put more money in your pocket and improve your standard of living, or allow you to retire your parents, right? That's never going to come from solely those acts of self-improvement. And in my senior year of college, trying to find a job, I basically had to come to that conclusion that everything that I did internally did not result in me having a full-time job by graduation. And so the conclusion that I came to was that I had to interface with the world, and the method of me doing so was through reaching out, cold emailing, cold DMing people on LinkedIn or their emails to try to set up coffee chats to learn about the industry of finance or to just get my name out there, and sending out job applications and everything in between, right? And any of that would help me get a job and essentially put money in my pocket, because a job will do that more than any meditating or journaling will or could. So that's kind of like the big advice that I would give to myself at 18 years old, is start interfacing with the world more. Obviously, you can still maintain good habits along the way. Exercising and taking care of your mental health is important, but that shouldn't be everything. And maybe I should have known that from the start, but I think a lot of times maybe it's just my own personality, and people with similar personalities to me might understand where I'm coming from, but you kind of like go all in on something, right? And you just make that everything. So I made self-improvement my everything, working out, cold showers, journaling, meditating, all of that. And I just didn't really spend time or effort on anything else. So I do wish I had a little bit more of a balanced approach in that regard, and interfacing with the world a little bit more externally, along with doing the internal work that's required to make sure that, you know, you're taking care of yourself. So I guess all of that was just a little piece of advice for my former self, who thought I would have had it all figured out by now at 23, but very clearly I do not. So still searching for the answers. A little bit of reassurance too that, you know, you might not have it all figured out by now. You might not be a millionaire by 25. You might not be, ultra rich and successful by the time you turn 22, which social media might make it seem to be. So not to discourage or disparage that pursuit, but, you know, just kind of level setting where I'm at today. And this will be something good to look back on, I'm sure, and hopefully help somebody else who is in the same place where I was when I was 18. So that's going to be all for today. This one was a little bit of a different one, but thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.